Hey, Abiding Presence. It's Maundy Thursday. Normally, we'd be getting together in this evening and coming into church, washing feet, sharing in the Lord's Supper, and then watching the stripping of the altar happen as a part of this worship service. It's going to be different today. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Maundy Thursday and as we enter into those 3 days as we journey toward Easter. Maundy Thursday is a pretty cool day. It comes from the Latin word mandatum, which is where we get the word Maundy from. And it's all about this new commandment to love one another. This night that we have, it is to celebrate the Lord's Supper, which Matthew, Mark, and Luke all have a Last Supper story in it. It's the Passover, where they're gathering together to celebrate the Passover. And Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he's telling them about this new commandment, this new covenant in his blood. He breaks bread, he shares wine with them, and then, of course, he's betrayed and he's handed over, and the story continues on toward the empty tomb. But in John, it's a little different. We don't have that gathering together around a table, but what we do have is the story of Jesus washing the disciples' feet. And that's one of the things that we celebrate on this night. Jesus gathers together in the upper room, and he's hanging out with his closest friends. And he does something that is really unorthodox. He takes a towel, and he wraps this towel around himself. And he takes the form of a servant. See, when somebody would go into the homes of others, the servant would wash their feet. It was an act of service, and it was an act of humility for Jesus to take this towel and wrap it around himself. And so he takes the towel, he wraps it around himself, and he pours water into the basin. And the disciples are really, really confused by what Jesus is doing. And then he asks them to sit down, and he takes the water and he begins to wash their feet. This leader is now turning into their servant. And as he's washing their feet, he wants them to go and do the same thing for others, for them to love one another like he has loved them, to love them as the form of a servant, to do everything that they can for the other person. Isn't that an amazing message for us today? It's hard for us to serve each other right now as we're in homes and in facilities and not able to go out and see other people. But I wonder how we might wash each other's feet in new ways this year, especially on this Maundy Thursday. But Maundy Thursday doesn't end with just the washing of the feet and the remembering of the Passover. We also begin to strip the altar and strip all the paraments around us. And things get taken down, and candles get taken out, and the cross is taken out. When I'm wearing my robe and my stole, those get taken off. And we take every ornament out of here. Every beautiful thing that we can visually see gets taken out of here. And the lights begin to dim down, and we hear the words of Psalm 22 said. And as those are said or sung, we recognize that the whole chancel area, the whole church itself, has that feeling of abandonment, just like Jesus was going through that too as he prepares for that final night where he's hung on the cross. And as the lights come down to the sanctuary, we all depart in silence in preparation for Good Friday, for the Easter Vigil, and then for Easter. So I hope today you'll find some way to serve one another, to figure out a way to wash each other's feet, whether it's literally or even figuratively. How can you be of service to somebody else today? And maybe you could spend some time reading Psalm 22 with each other and look at those familiar words that we hear every year and listen to the story of the crucifixion from the Psalms. It's a beautiful night. I hope that you celebrate it together. We miss you. We look forward to doing this all together again next year. But until then, we're going to hold you in prayer and try to be of service to you. And we'll wash each other's feet in the future. Blessings.